Welcome, everyone. This is John Ryan for SportsMemo.com, and you are watching the NBA Triple Double powered by the Predictive Playbook. And as always, and I don't think there'll ever be a change, Ronald Cabang, my good friend and pal, who also appeared on the First Family show earlier today, and will also be appearing with me at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for our Major League Baseball Full Count live show. I don't know how anybody could put up with me 3 shows in one day, but if there is a guy that can do it, Ronald Cabang is the guy. Welcome to the show, Ronald. How is everything going?
Going well. I think it's about time for a bounce back. I got hit with a couple bad beats the last couple of days, so I'm ready to turn it around.
And we're not going to talk about my record. You can look on sportsmemo.com.
John, I know you're running real hot right now. Let's keep it going, buddy.
I'll say it quietly. 69% against the spread, last 58, 10-1, the last 11 against the spread. But keep it a secret from the betting gods.
We got this.
There it is, man. Let's get on to the games here. And, for the first time I can remember in my 27-year career, Ronald, we had a game last night. Toronto was favored first half line, but was an underdog to the Sixers for full game. And that was rather prophetic because I was watching in-game, as I was telling you before we came on the air here, and even when the Sixers were down 13, 14, 15 points, the line was only plus 6.5, plus 7.5. So the line was almost telling you that the Sixers were going to come back, like almost in certainty they were going to come back. Whether they're going to win the game or not, you really don't care if you're getting 6.5 or 7.5. I did play pizza money at plus 5.5, and truth be told, I start 5 o'clock, but I was reading the back of my eyelids when they went into overtime and the Sixers won. So I didn't see how that unfolded, but I was delighted to see the result. So here in this game and today, and again, last night was the first time I've ever can recall seeing that in my career. We have 2 games today that are doing that. Dallas is at the Utah Jazz, and right now the line for the Utah Jazz, actually this game is not one of the ones, obviously. It's minus 6.5. I apologize. The next 2 games will be focused on that phenomenon. So we'll just talk about this one now. With the Dallas and Utah being tied 1-1, I think it was amazing that Dallas won game 2. This game's set to start at 9 o'clock tonight, and you can see on this chart here what the odds and the total are. Ronald, what do you think happens in this game tonight?
Yeah, I think obviously the Mavs had a great game from Brunson and Kleber in game 2 that really helped them get the W last week. And I think, to me, obviously Jazz are going to have to make some adjustments here to limit Brunson. But I feel like this is going to open up guys like Finney Smith and Dwight Powell. Finney Smith, obviously he didn't shoot that well in this game 2. Dwight Powell, he kind of took he was on the sidelines because Kleber was obviously shooting pretty well on his own. So I think this is going to open up the offense for these guys. Dwight Powell on the pick and roll, Finney Smith on the pick and pop, maybe just sitting on the on the corner hitting the 3. I think Jazz are gonna pay more attention to Brunson. Obviously, he's the only guy. If Luka doesn't play today, he's the only guy that's able to really handle the ball and facilitate this offense. So I think they're going to put some attention on him. That's going to open up some guys on the that weren't really focused on in game 2. Some trend to know 8-3 against the spread as road dogs in conference games against teams with a winning record, but only 4-7 straight up in those spots. On the Jazz side, 11-5 straight up and 5-10-1 against the spread going from road to home. So they don't travel well in these spots. Obviously, game 3 they're going from Dallas back to Salt Lake. And then another trend to mention is 6-6 straight up and 2-10 against the spread against teams with a winning record when the total is less than 217. So when the books are expecting a low scoring game, obviously the Jazz struggle to cover in those spots, especially when the line is towards this higher number, around 6.5 to 7. Obviously they could actually they actually played the Mavs 4 times in those spots here. against a team with a winning record and a total less than 217. In those games, they're 1-3 against the spread. So
Wow.
the only game the Cavs did not cover was by the hook, 90-96, and the line was 5.5 on that one. So I think, I mean, obviously the Jazz and the Mavs, they match up well. The Mavs match up well even without Luka, it seems like. And to me, I think this is a spot where the game stays close throughout. Maybe the Mavs have a chance to win it outright towards the end, but possibly the Jazz just win but not cover this line.
I'm with you on it. I am. I do think the key point you made there, my takeaway from it is that the Jazz, with even without Luca, appear to match up pretty darn well. It was reminds me of what happened last night with the Bulls and the Bucks.
Yep.
You know, the Bucks. If you look at their box score, it has one name, Giannis. You look at the Bulls box score, three different names for leading scorer, leading assists, leading rebounds. And when I see three names, that's a team. When I see one name, that's just one guy doing everything. So, and I think Utah is that type of team that they don't match up well against Dallas. They just
Yeah.
and Dallas they know they can beat them now. I mean that's the confidence factor that goes into this game.
Mhm.
I'm leaning a little bit on the under in this game as well. Playing under with road teams with a totals greater than 220, playing their fourth or fewer game in 10 days, which usually precludes a playoff game, by the way. A
Mhm.
good team with a win percentage, 60 to 75%, playing a similar team with the same win percentage. That's 110 to 65 to the under for 63%. That's the last 5 seasons. So I definitely lean under here. And I
Mhm.
like your take on the Mavericks to at least cover the game, if not win.
Mhm.
All right, let's move on to our next game here. And that is the Memphis Grizzlies and the Timberwolves. And this is what I was talking in the beginning of the show. We have a situation where Minnesota is favored by half a point. Granted, that's not very much, but they are favored. But they're an underdog for the full game of -1.5. I'm seeing twos now, more than just rogue twos. The twos are starting to pop up, and I think I wouldn't be surprised to see Memphis go to 2.5. So if you like Memphis, I think I'd bet it now
Mhm.
rather than later. But after game two, Ronald, is there anybody on Minnesota that can stop John Morant? He was spectacular in my eyes. I think I mentioned it yesterday. You watch Trey Young and the quickness and the athleticism, and you wonder who in the world can guard a guy like that. And then 10 minutes later, I'm watching Morant, and I'm
Mhm.
thinking, like, how does he not get injured just because of how strong he is? It's just amazing.
Yeah.
So, do you see any way that this game's going to be different than game two, or is Memphis like woke up and they're just going to take care of business?
Yeah, this is a tough one for me because obviously I really do like the Grizzlies. I like them to win this series. Um, but from the surface level, I did, before even digging into the numbers and things like that, I was thinking the Grizzlies were going to win this one outright. Um, and but the line is telling me something a little bit different. I think it's a strong line here for the Wolves. And when I dive deeper into the numbers, there's a lot of trends and aspects of this game that actually point towards the Wolves as well. Yeah, but when you, like, I think I mentioned this before, when you have a questionable game where you're looking from both sides and you can't really make a decision, you could always just look towards the other side and try to focus on some other aspect of the game. And for me, that's a total here. I like the over in this one. I know the total is high. But in this spot specifically, there's a lot of trends that follow the over for both teams here. The Grizzlies 14-7 to the over following a double digit loss. I mean, sorry, not double digit loss. That was a different trend. 11-3-2 to the over after scoring 120 or more in their last matchup. 120 or more in their last matchup. And on the Wolves side, there's a trend here that's 11-0 to the over after allowing 120 plus points in the previous matchup against a team with a winning record. So these are a couple of trends here that push me towards the over, even with this high total. Some of the things that kind of got me away from you know going the full game on the Grizzlies here. The Wolves are actually 13-5 straight up and 11-6-1 against the spread in travel spots going from road to home. And if you add that they're the home dog, they're actually 4-1 straight up and 5-0 against the spread. Another thing to add there, is just the fact that they're coming off a big loss. They're gonna have to bounce back in some way. They're gonna make the adjustments. They're probably gonna make some adjustments on how they guard Morant, like you mentioned. It's gonna be tough for one guy to do it. Obviously, Beverly is one of the a great perimeter defender, one-on-one defender, but they're gonna need more than that. And then the Grizzlies will need to make sure that they have their guys shooting the three ball, ready to be available to shoot the three ball when Morant dishes it out. I think there's two strategies here for both teams to adjust. But for me, I think the one thing that remains the same is the pace and their offensive efficiency, and that's why I look towards the over.
Yeah, and I completely agree with the overplay. After all, Memphis is the best NBA team. Fast break points scored per game and also points in the paint. Now, granted, points in the paint is not the Will Chamberlain style of score in the paints. It's penetration, either dishing out to a wide open 3-point shooter or they score at the rim. And again, I just don't see. I'll be proven wrong. I'm going to watch the game. I do have a prop bet though to share, and that is Anthony Edwards under 28.5 points and assists. Currently minus 108 at FanDuel. I like that prop bet quite a bit. I thought he played extraordinarily well. I don't think. I just don't see that kind of performance happening again. So it's a pizza money bet. Anthony Edwards under 28.5 points and assists, minus 108 at FanDuel. And now we'll run into our third and final game, and this involves the zigzag theory that some people think during the 90s it was fantastic, and I don't know if the books adjusted to it or the word spread is what I think, and then the market obviously gets priced accordingly, but it still works. And as we'll see in this betting angle of the day after your breakdown, how it does support Golden State, and I'll show you the records over the last several years, the last 6, all with winning records. So I don't know why you wouldn't follow this. Obviously, Ronald and I do a lot more handicapping in games than just following one particular system or one particular angle, because things do reverse, they do regress, they do progress, and sometimes angles run the course of time, and because of age, they become meaningless. So I'll turn it over to you, Ronald, and see what you think for a best bet in this matchup tonight.
Yeah, another thing to mention too is, like you mentioned how obviously the Nuggets here are favored in the first half and the Warriors full game. Same thing with the Grizzlies and Wolves. The Wolves are favored in the first half and the Grizzlies are favored full game. This is just saying that the books are becoming way more sharp, especially when there's only 3 games on the board. And obviously during the regular season, we could take advantage of that because they had slates that were like 8-9 games long. You know what I mean? So they couldn't focus on each game, every aspect of the game. And here in the playoffs, they only got 3 games to focus on. Now they're even more sharp. So that's one thing. The books, I feel like, are adjusting to things, and the smarter the betting public becomes, the books are going to have to adjust to that. And you could see that now. Like you mentioned, it's rare to see the lines being the way that they have been the last couple of days. But just going to this game here, I'd also lean the Warriors. The way it looks like, I feel like the Warriors could actually sweep the series here. To me, number wise, trend wise, it's a fade on the Nuggets. 7-10 straight up, and 3-14 against the spread in travel situations from road to home, including 0-3 straight up and against the spread as home dogs, which is the full game line here today. They're plus money, plus numbers. So that's another thing there. 5-10 against the spread following a double-digit previous matchup loss. So their coaching staff doesn't adjust properly in situations or against teams that they've already lost to by a big number here. So to me, I think the Warriors, they've proven themselves that they have come to play in the playoffs, and I think they get it done again today.
I love it. And let's take a look at this, the infamous zigzag theory. which is right here. And this is, I'll call this a modified one. It's not the traditional one. Um, but what you're going to do is you're going to bet on playoff teams coming off a home win. And by the way, this applies to the regular season, so you can, Ron and I run queries in databases all the time, so it's very easy to slice and dice the data. But this applies to only playoff games because after all, we are in the playoffs. So you're going to bet on playoff teams coming off a home win, installed as a favorite, and covered the spread in that previous home win. Sorry for the misspelling there. And now find themselves priced as road favorites. And that is the Golden State Warriors, who are favored by 2. And folks, it doesn't matter if they're favored by 1, 2, or 10. They're favored. So now, the results so far since 2016, 24-7 straight up. So there's the money line opportunity right there to bet Golden State at -2. You're not going to pay that much to play the money line if you like money line bets. Also, they are 23-7-1 against the number for 77% winning bets since the 2016 playoffs. And as you can see on the chart, each year, we're 1-0 this year, and you can read for yourselves. You get basically, with the exception of the 2019 playoffs that went 5-3, each of the other playoff seasons had only one loss, and I find that outstanding. It's a simple betting system, and like I said, Ronald and I depend on a lot more than just one system. But if you're new to sports betting, this might be a great way to introduce yourselves to the idea of a betting system that works. It works. It's not it's not a fluke when you have that many years with profitability. So that'll bring us to the best bet segment now. And I'll start off and give you some time to think, Ronald, because I do feel sorry for you being on a show 3 times in one day with me. But it is a lot of fun, seriously. I'm just kidding. But I do like, what do I like? I like, why did I go first? I like the, I like the under in the the over in the Memphis Grizzlies, Minnesota Timberwolves game. And I think, if this game gets gets out of control and gets a little bit chaotic like game 1 did, and somehow by the act of the betting gods, you see an in-game total of 258 or higher, lock it in. So my suggestion is 50% pre-flop at the current level of 237-ish. If things get crazy in that first half and you have a chance to lock it in at 258, that gives you a 21-point middle. And I really don't think this game is going to be a 230 to 230 type of affair, unless, of course, we go into overtime, then all bets are off. But I just have a gut feeling that the volatility of this game is going to be so high that that is a possibility to get into the upper 250s. Turn it over to you, Ronald. What do you have for us for a best bet for the show?
Yeah, I think I'm looking to the Mavs here. I think I think they match up well even if Luka doesn't play. Obviously with the number the line the way where it is right now, I have a feeling they have a good chance of covering that line, possibly even winning outright. I feel like it's going to be close throughout. So to me, I'm gonna go with the Mavs today.
Perfect. There you have it, folks. Another fine edition of the NBA Triple Double Show with my buddy Ronald Cabang. We'll be back at 3 o'clock this afternoon for the MLB Full Count Show. So that's a live one, so don't be late for that. But if you can't make it, it is archived, so you can watch it later in the afternoon. And then, of course, we'll be back tomorrow at about the same time with our recorded edition of the NBA Triple Double. And by the way, starting Monday, our producers are telling us that we are going live, Ronald, and that will be at high noon, I believe. It's all to be determined, but that is the indication. So put that on your calendars because we will be live. You can ask us questions on the fly in the chat room, and we are psyched to have that happen. So until tomorrow for the next edition of the NBA Triple Double, remember to bet with your heads and not over it. And, of course, may all the wins be yours.